lecture, and I'm going to be throwing you some interesting topics I hope you can address. We are living in, well, here's the first one. What are three qualities now that you really enjoy about yourself? Will you address that, Miss Sharon Giles? Miss, are you there, Miss Sharon?
Greetings, Mr. Toastmaster. You want me to share the qualities, three qualities. Presently, the reason you're looking at my beautiful hat is because I am suffering with severe sinus. The right side of my eye is down to my chin. But on a good day, going back to Vincent's message, my name is Sharon, and Sharon means a princess. So I've always sat on a throne. I have always wanted to be the first in line, the first to speak, as well as the last to speak. But honestly, I am an encourager. I am the one who perseveres. I will not lead you, but I will definitely point you in the direction. So who I am, what I am an encourager. I am a protector. Being the youngest of 5, I've learned to stand up for myself. I've learned to use my voice to better, not only where I live. Hopefully, I will use that CPR that I heard earlier. Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Ms. Giles.
And you can call me Sharon.
Oh, Sharon, okay. You know, we live in uncertain times. Pandemic, loss of climate, threats of World War III. Do you think it's especially important for you to take time to celebrate yourself? Ryan, as in David Ryan.
Apologies, Mr. Table Topics Master. I'm trying to juggle here my timing equipment and
I'll time you, David. David, if you like me
to. Mr. Topics Master, is it important to take time to celebrate yourself? Absolutely. One of the things that I've learned over the past year is the value of spending time literally just on myself. And it starts with getting up that little bit early when the kids, the family are asleep, when there's no expectations with relation to work, and just to spend time on the stuff that I want to learn about, the stuff that I'm passionate about myself, and to spend time on a little bit of fitness. So absolutely, it is critically important. I found that it was a huge benefit to me through the end of COVID time. Just mental health, everything got so much better spending that hour in the morning celebrating myself and what I'm passionate about. Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Mr. David Ryan. You know, in this life, we seem to have such a routine type of life. Why would being adventuresome, have an adventure, be a good thing? Ms. Sheffield. Why is adventure good? Ms. Sheffield. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay.
Why adventure would be good? Well, for me, it's good because it keeps me busy. It really keeps me busy. I'm a fearful person, but I persevere. I try to tackle my fears all the time, and I always look for new things to do. adventure is part of that because it helps me overcome certain things. Just a few minutes ago, I was thinking about my next project that is going to be the icebreaker for my new pathway. And it came to my mind who I am and how I do things. And fear, it's a very huge part of me, but I have learned how to manage it. And I take adventures to new things just to prove it to myself. Back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Sheffield. You know, we're always concerned about success. How does failure, that's right, how does failure improve your life? Miss Judith Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Masters. The question was how failure
Improves your life.
improves.
Improves,
Life.
makes your life better. Failure.
Yes, I got that. I understand that that's the whole idea that you have to fail in order to get better. I am not always prescribing to this particular idea. However, I did fail a couple of times in my career. I've been fired for one job, and then I was fired from another one, and I decided, okay, it's enough of this. It's time to start my own business. So I did start my own business, regardless how difficult and what successful entrepreneur I will become. And I decided that this is the way to go. So I can manage myself, one person, one owner operator, and I don't have to worry about who is going to fire me and who is not going to, and approves or not. I have been in business about 40 years, and I think that actually is successful after I failed to be a loyal employee. That is my story. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Ms. Judith Ferber. Our next question, because we're living these difficult times, you've been invited to a Citizens Council of the World meeting. And the question is this: how would you change the world to make it better, make a better place? You will ask that on camera before billions of people at the world meeting. Ms. Shabazz.
Why did I think you were going to ask me that question, Harold G? Now, you promised me yesterday you would not ask me. Can you repeat the question? I'm in front of a few billion people, and
a world meeting, and the camera comes to you, and it says, how would you change the world to make it better, a better place? How would you do it?
I would say to that person who was holding that microphone in front of me, to my massive evaluation, fellow Toastmasters, and to our guests, what I would say is don't change anything. Because I actually believe that in every challenge, that there is something for us to gain. And that when we look at the things that are taking place, I look at them as opportunities for me to grow. I look at so-called failure as an opportunity for me to dig deep, really find that internal resource that's going to allow me to move forward and to be successful at whatever it is I'm seeking to achieve. So I'm not so sure, Mr. Table Topics Master, that I would tell 5 or 10 or whatever billion amount of people that there is anything to make the world better. Because I know most people will probably say to start accepting people, to be more tolerant, and all of these wonderful ways that so many people have encouraged and invited us to look at in terms of making the world better, that we should accept things that are not acceptable today. But I would say, let's accept things the way they are and learn from them. I think that we can learn from war. We can learn that it doesn't work. I think that we can learn from poverty. I think that we can learn from racial strife. I think that we can learn from so many things. So if we eliminate those, where would the learning be? And so I'm an advocate for knowing that my challenges can be and result sometimes in my greatest successes if I'm willing to face them head on. You look like you're sitting back, Harold G. So that would be my answer. What would I say to 4 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion people? I say, let it roll, baby. Let it roll and let's see what happens. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master, Harold G. Doing a great job.
Thank you, Ms. Shabazz. Okay, for the next speaker, you're wealthy, you're highly educated, you're secure. Do you still need a purpose for your life, Ms. Carol Jacoby? Do you still need a purpose for your life? You're well off, you're secure, you're safe. What do you need?
Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters, absolutely do I need a purpose for my life. I'm in the part of my life that I dreamed about, where I would be able to retire and I'd have enough money so I wouldn't have to work and I could do whatever I wanted. What is it? That's the challenge. This is a part of life that's never been defined before. People didn't used to live this long. People didn't used to live long enough to be retired. And the ages before that are all well defined. You're a kid, you're learning, you're a parent, you're a worker. It's all well defined. And finally, your kids grow up, they move out, you complete your job, you retire, you planned it well, so you have money. Now what? Nobody knows. Nobody's defined this. Is that important? You bet it is, at least to me. I need to have some purpose. I need to be doing something outside of just my own little sphere. I don't want to be puttering around the house. I want to make a difference. And here I am, and society has no ideas for me. It's very strange, but it's very important. And I hope everybody thinks about what happens when you get to that third stage of your life that's completely undefined. I don't have the answer yet, but I'm looking for it. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Ms. Carol Jacoby. Now, this is such a direct question, but it's so needed. Why is this small word, H-O-P-E, why is hope so important? Now, I will ask this next gentleman because he's loaded, he's famous. He doesn't have the need for anything. Scott Oliver, why is hope important?
Oh, Lord. Loaded and famous.
Yes.
So why do you need hope? Hope is nothing more than a vision of what the future is that you want it to be. And it really is a culmination of the conversations that we've had so far. What would we do to improve the planet? I'm all for an improved planet, but I'm also a big fan of bumper stickers, as I've said in the past. So think globally, my friends, but act locally. Hope that the work that you do in your community, in your family, at your home, is enough to make a change for somebody else to use as an example. Hope is a matter of what you dream about. And I dream that perhaps we could live better with one another as neighbors and friends and families and communities and not feel the need to take each other's stuff like some people are doing in the Ukraine right now, or like they do in our own backyard, whether it's a political party stealing from one side or from the other. I have great dreams and hopes that I could make that kind of impact on the world. So whether I'm rich and famous, as I was logically not very well described, my hope is that the wealth I get out of this planet is I can make a little bit of a difference. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. This next question will seem obvious, but in our day and time, we're even stressful times. People are upset. Why is common courtesy become very important? Brad Stauffer. Are you there, Brad?
I am here. Thank you for that question, Mr. Table Topics Master. Why is courtesy important? Because it's courtesy is important, I believe, because it's a foundation of a healthy relationship, healthy friendships, healthy relationships in general. I'm reminded of a LinkedIn post that I saw the other day that I see often, where someone will share their life story to make one particular point about overcoming obstacles or what they believe in. And I'm disappointed to see the lack of courtesy in all the responses when people go off on other topics, taking from one point in the poster's story. And I'm really frustrated about it because it lacks courtesy, it lacks respect, and it lacks accepting others for who they are, where they come from, and what they look like. And I bring all of those things under courtesy, respect, love, acceptance. And if we all had that, I believe that is what would change the world. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you for that answer. The next answer may be, now riches, wealth. Let's suppose you woke up and you got to notice a distant aunt left you $350 million. How would your life change, Aprille?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I do have an aunt, but she's not rich. She gives me riches that she does have, which means that she will always talk to me about how to live a worthy life. She treasures her grandchildren. Hey, I do too. She treasures that I call her every Friday. That is a richness that has gone on for probably 10 years now. She is 97, and she doesn't know how she got to be so old and into it, and she lives alone in a care center, but COVID was awful for her and for me too. But our Fridays got us through a lot of that together, encouraging, cheering each other on, being silly together. These are the kinds of riches that Aunt Mary has given me, and I hope everybody in this room has an Aunt Mary to help them along the way. It's not just a one-way street either, unless we're arm in arm. I feel like it would be such a good thing for all of us to think of ourselves as being arm in arm as we pursue our lives, as we pursue being better people in our world, because we need to do that. I need to help myself in my conversations with Aunt Mary and others to be the realized person I want myself to be, as Rumbi was saying, there and standing up and picking yourself up. And Harold, I really want to salute you for the quality of these questions today. We all need to be considering these issues. How are we making a difference in the world, our world? So about Aunt Mary, I'm going to have to tell her I talked about her today, and I know that she will treasure it because that's us. Thank you so much, Harold.
Thank you. Mr. Timer, do we have time for one more?
Yeah, I was muted. We can take one more topic, Harold.
Thank you. You have the time and you have the money to travel anywhere in the world you want, where would you go and why would you go there? Donna Casebourn.
Mr. Table Topic Master, it's interesting that you asked this because I have always dreamt about this. My husband and I have always talked about this. We, first of all, would travel to Israel and walk where Jesus walked and get to know the history of parts of the Bible that go on there. I would then like to have us travel up to Germany. Germany, Norway, and Sweden would be my next 3 places for us to travel, because that is where our ethnicity or our heritage comes from. It's those 3 countries. And I want to get to know what life is like for them over there. I want to experience it. And I say experience it because my mother was given a present to travel over to Ireland and do some research, but she never took the time to experience the culture, the country, to do any sightseeing traveling. The last place that I would love to go, and this is most recently, I found out that we have some Scottish blended in with our Irish ethnicity. So those are the countries that I would love to go to. And it happens to be my husband's lineage is very similar. We would then take that nice, relaxing, peaceful flight back to the US. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Ms. Donna Casebourn.
We are now up for our table topics evaluator, Ms. Vicky Trabosh.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Scott and I come from a club where we always evaluated table topics. And when you have this many speakers, I'm not going to go through each one. But first, let me tell you and remind you that a great table topic speech is often starts with a great question. Wonderful job, Harold, on bringing together these questions and helping us think deeply. Now, the great thing I liked about these questions was that they could have kind of gone off the railing a little bit, meaning they could have, oh, why am I off? Sorry, thank you. I don't know why I was off video all this time. They could have gone off the rail. They could have gotten funny, but all of our speakers actually contributed their thoughts. They went deep, and in 2 to 3 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, sorry, you can see the value of what happens. As a group, here's what I think about the speakers. And this is for you to ask yourself. I always try to do this. I saw it in some ways. Did you close in a way that summarized what you were trying to say? When we're doing a 1 to 2 minute comment, whether it's in a business meeting or whatever, when we're doing a 1 to 2 minute comment, how do we make sure that we bring our point home at the end? Muriel, you went over, but I think your speech was a great example. You did a number of closes. You kept closing it and saying the same thing over and over, which was so powerful. Yet you missed the time by 10 seconds. So when we think about that, how will we use our time to close it and make something matter? We had people talk about their name, what it meant, from Sharon talking about being a princess, to Carol talking about what being retired meant, to Judith talking about how failures actually, I see. For Judith saying what failure has been for her. Each person, Brad talked about being courteous in the world and talked about acceptance. I think the biggest lesson I learned today, personally, listening to each person speak, was that when we stop worrying about what we're not saying and just speak from our heart, we make a huge difference. I am all about telling you all how to be better. The only thing I would say is think about your ending, watch the video, because I'm going to send that out to the table topic speakers, and see if from your standpoint you had a strong close. Mr. General Evaluator.